Hey, everybody. Welcome to the WGU Alumni Podcast. We're thrilled to have you tuning in yet again, everybody. My name is Jeff Burton. I'm the Senior Manager of Alumni Engagement here at WGU. This season on the WGU Alumni Podcast, we are talking to people that have discovered it's never too late to invest in themselves and go back to school. And I am super excited to introduce and welcome to the podcast a recently named distinguished graduate here at WGU, and that would be Timothy Galuzzi. Hi, Tim. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Tim is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and he currently serves as Nevada's Chief Information Officer. And if I have this correctly, at the time of your appointment, Tim, you were the youngest CIO in the country. How did your WGU education prepare you to step into such a high-stakes leadership role?
It really taught me that there was not going to be anything that was going to hold me back, and education wasn't going to hold me back, or lack thereof. And it really proved to me that if I set my mind to something, that I could accomplish it.
So I understand you've had almost 2 decades of experience in information technology. When did you become the CIO of the state of Nevada?
So I was named the state CIO in Nevada in June of 2022. And so at that point, as you mentioned, I was the youngest state CIO in the nation. And an interesting anecdote there is that the median tenure for state CIOs is only approximately 24 months right now.
Oh, wow.
So I went from one of the youngest state CIOs in the nation to now one of the longest tenured state CIOs in the nation, based off of median tenure. So
wow.
It's definitely been an interesting journey at this point.
Well, and I understand a couple of years ago in 2023, you helped elevate your agency to a cabinet level status. What motivated that effort, and what does that mean for Nevada's future?
Yes, it was an incredibly strategic move. Governor Lombardo, as he was transitioning into the governor's office, really identified that IT is a strategic partner and it has to be part of the strategic cabinet level conversations. And so that was a move that his administration really pushed for, to bring the office of the CIO into the governor's cabinet, because they needed a seat at the table. And IT is a business partner to the operational departments throughout the state government. And that has really helped us guide and support agencies when it comes to the efficient and effective use of technology within state government in order to better serve our constituents. And we're seeing the impacts of that now. When it comes to cybersecurity response, when it comes to efficient use of technology across agencies, we're building better partnerships, we're building better governance when it comes to technology. And I think that first major decision when it comes to organizational structure, we're really seeing the fruits of that decision now.
That is great. Thank you for sharing all that. Super fascinating. I'm curious if there was an underlying motivation or a reason to go back to school in the first place.
I was kind of lost. I didn't necessarily have a path. In my 8 years in the Marine Corps, I was in telecommunications, and I, like most service members, I got out having some semblance of an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to definitely parlay the experience that I had while I was in uniform and while I was in the service. I quickly started kind of going up through the ranks in state service and found myself really thriving in more of the leadership type roles when it comes to technology. When I talk about leadership type roles, I talk about like project management, project leadership, and overall leadership, kind of like where business and technology intersect, like the finance side of technology. And then I discovered that WGU happened to have a MBA in IT management. Higher education and education in general really acts as the great equalizer and an opportunity to really change our outcomes. I was raised in a very small town in California, and we bounced around. I was the middle child of five. And we were told when we were coming up that, if you don't find your way to pay for college, you're not going. And, growing up in a household like that, you didn't if you didn't make the opportunity, you weren't going to get it. Education is really the opportunity to really write your own story.
What held you back from doing it sooner?
First and foremost, I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps. And, with the time that I was in the Marine Corps, I did 2 combat tours to Iraq and 1 tour to Afghanistan. And while some people were able to pursue higher education while they were in service, and hats off to those folks. With the deployment tempo that I had, unfortunately, I wasn't able to engage in those types of activities. I wasn't the best student in high school because I thought I knew my path. I thought I knew where I was going. And maybe I didn't spend as much time on academics that I should have. I needed the Marine Corps to kind of wake me up and really highlight what was important. And maybe the Marine Corps did that, or maybe it was my family that did that really helped me identify what was important and what was a priority.
Was there a moment when it clicked for you that you knew it wasn't too late?
I think it's never too late. And I think that's the simplest answer to that question. That, when I was in classes at WGU and even, taking my MBA capstone and in my group work, we had folks ranging in age from very early 20s, if not late teenagers, all the way up to mid to late 40s, all in the same group, all going for the same goal on the same capstone project.
What's something unexpected you gained from your experience?
Other than lack of sleep, being able to kind of break down incredibly large and complex tasks and assignments into small, manageable bites. I know we often use the analogy, how do you eat an elephant, right? Small bites, right? And so, I think that's one of the ways that I found success with a lot of the WGU coursework is, if you look at the entirety of a course and you look at the entirety of the coursework, it often looks very significant. But if you look at it chapter by chapter, section by section, it becomes a little bit more manageable.
Gotcha. Good insight. Can you think of another experience in your life when you realized it was never too late?
I think in my personal life as well, right? I think we all have this idea that, we're gonna find the love of our life early. We're going to start our families early and whatnot. But I kind of hit the pause button in service to my country for 8 years, and started a little bit later. And now I've got a beautiful wife and children, and I wouldn't trade any of it for the world.
I want to look forward for a moment, and I kind of want to get into a little bit of an advice section of the podcast. And you've had a very successful career in the military, in the IT world, and now in your role with the state of Nevada. I'd love to hear about a favorite life hack that's helped you navigate the professional workspace.
I, like a lot of other folks, really suffered with imposter syndrome. And so one of the things that I did was surround myself with folks that really knew what the heck they were talking about, right? But you have to understand that is a sign of a good leader, is to surround yourself with folks, with experts, and to not force yourself in the position where you have to be the expert in the room on everything, and to kind of humble yourself to be able to admit that you're not the expert on everything.
If you were to connect with somebody who was wondering if it was too late to go after a dream or to pursue their goals, What advice would you give that individual?
What's stopping you? One of my favorite quotes, poems in existence is "The Man in the Arena." And so what that talks about, the gist of it is, it is not for the spectators to judge what the people that are actually in it are doing. And so be the one that's in it, jump in there, do it, start it. The only person that's holding you back is you. You're the only one that can really change your outcomes, your story, your song. So get in there and write it.
I want to do just a rapid fire night owl edition, if you will. So I'm just going to ask you some questions and just fire back the first thing that comes to your mind. All right. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Glutton for punishment, so both.
First thing you do in the morning?
I scroll and catch up on all the news because I'm on the West Coast. So I start getting news feeds from the East Coast.
One word to describe the moment when you completed your WGU degree?
Relieved.
Favorite late night study snack?
Got to be something salty and crunchy. So maybe like a Chex Mix.
The most unsung thing about Nevada you wish that people knew?
There's a whole lot to Nevada outside of Las Vegas.
One key takeaway from your service in the military?
The brotherhood, the esprit de corps, the spirit, the companionship.
And what makes you proud to be a WGU alum?
The community, the accomplishment of starting something incredibly difficult and achieving it.
Thank you so much for your time. Continued success to you. And you're such a great representative of the university. And again, it's great to connect with you again.
Thank you, Jeff. It's been a blast. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And for our viewers to learn all about the WGU alumni offerings, visit wgu.edu/alumni. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks to Tim. And we hope to see you again very, very soon. Thanks, everybody.